Hi everyone, Mrs. Dial here. Wanted to make this video and send out to all of our stakeholders today, our teachers, our parents, our community, as we are about to approach the 1 year mark of how things have changed for us in the last year with the pandemic. And I heard it referred to a couple weeks ago as kind of the great pause, that it's been a lot of things have stopped and some things are restarting. But I know pausing gives us time to reflect and collect our thoughts. And so I wanted us to take time as we approach this 1 year mark to stop and be able to reflect together. As I think back on where we were a year ago, getting ready for spring break and going into spring break, we didn't know if we would be coming back, and we were telling teachers, hey, go ahead and take these things home just in case, because we're just not sure what's going to happen. And I don't think any of us could predict what life would be like for the next year at that point. It was just kind of a day by day things, and things were changing very quickly. But I'm so thankful to this community and for the way that you have encouraged myself and my team at Imagine Southlake, and how we have really taken up that quote, up together is better, and done all of these new and difficult things together. Thankful for my team and the way that we've worked as one team. We promised last year that we would do our best and that we would show great care in everything that we did, that we would always try. And so I think that while we have certainly, I have not been flawless in leading this team and doing that, I think those are things that we have stuck to that have been great things for us to kind of plant our feet in, is that those are the things that we are going to always try to do our best and show care and do it together. So I was listening to this podcast this week, and it just was about how do you mark this moment of a year, because so many things have changed. It's called 10 Things to Tell You. It's episode 106, and it's 10 questions to mark 1 year of the pandemic. And these can be things that you write about in a journal. They can be conversation starters with your family around the dinner table. For our teachers, they can be questions for journaling or for warrior circles, things to help us process and pause and collect our thoughts about what's happened over the last year. So, the podcast encourages you to think about all aspects of your life, your family life, of course, your work life, your social life. And as you're going through these questions, just thinking about all those things. So we're going to go through these 10 questions to mark 1 year of the pandemic. And number one is, what was life like in early 2020 before all this happened? And that will help us kind of start thinking about how things have changed. What was the biggest change? It'd be interesting to hear from the kids and from everyone in your families and in classrooms what the biggest changes were for everyone. What were your coping mechanisms? How did you cope with all of these changes? What did connection look like in your relationships? And what will you remember most about this time? What was the biggest challenge for you? What was a beautiful memory? I know I have quite a few of those from just my family being forced together in the same house for quite some time. And so we do have some beautiful memories, and we want to make sure we remember those things that were good that came out of this year. What do you believe now that you did not believe a year ago? Or what do you not believe now that you did believe a year ago? Some of our belief systems or things may have changed. What would you do differently? And, we certainly hope that we never experience anything like this again. But anytime we've been through a crisis or an emergency, you can always look back and think, man, I wish I would have handled that differently. I wish I would have reacted in a different way. Certainly I have those things that, as thinking about, being a leader during this time, things that I wish I would have done differently. And I think it helps us to reflect on those so that when you're in a new situation, well, I know what I'm not going to do. So I thought that was an interesting question. And then what will you carry forward with you from this time? So I think it's neat as a community to think through and process things like that together. Strengthens our bonds in our classrooms and with our families. And so I hope, teachers, that you'll take just a little bit of time over this next week to help process how things have changed in the last year as we mark this 1 year, coming up on this 1 year mark. And families that, just around your dinner table, pick a few questions and give everybody a chance to talk through, and I think that we will learn things about each other, find things that we have in common, and strengthen those bonds, and most of all, help us process what we have been through in this last year. So I hope you find these helpful, and just know that I am so thankful that as a community we have really chosen to do all of this together, and just thankful for your support and care for our school and our team during this time. So thanks so much. Hope you find this helpful.